Hello, welcome back, and we are on to back to this case, Derelicts of the Depths. Last we left, Vincent had a rather uh, powerful confrontation with a fragment of the Sargasso Sea, and one of his logos themes cracked over into a mythos theme. Meanwhile, the amulet is currently suffering a lot of bat burn tags, which means they cannot be used unless something happens to unburn them, which might not be for a while.
Oh no, it's probably more likely that that is going to fade before.
This is definitely a thing. Now, the other thing was, after the Sargasso was cleared from the museum, and you kind of thoroughly disturbed a little bit Castillo, because she's kind of pointed at you in your aura of writhing snakes that started to partially fade away. She pointed at you and said, "I don't know what that is." And then you heard a voice talking about, well, that was quite an impressive show. And the curator for the exhibit went and picked up the sword out of the broken cases. I believe that's where we left off.
Okay, what state was Vincent in when we finished last time?
Let's see. You were just coming off of your stop holding back move. I don't think you had any particular statuses on you. You had burned all of your Slavic amulet, so you don't have any statuses. The still air has been cleansed, so that's not working against you anymore. So you're pretty good, I think.
Alright, so I can remove that.
Yep, and you're no longer bound up because the plants are gone.
Yes, but probably, so Vincent pulls himself to his feet from his hands and knees and says, "Ma'am, you really don't want to do that."
Oh, yeah, she's not exactly at the driver's seat right now. Scholar isn't exactly first choice for body, but it's what was available when the glass broke.
I see.
The grad student and the security guards are kind of looking at you, saying, "What's going on here? Dr. Franson, shouldn't you be? Why are you holding the sword like that?"
It's the ghost of Captain Aristide Kelly.
Very, very good. Yes. Ghost is a way to put it.
Vincent takes a step forward and holds out his hand. Well, if you don't want that body,
I think I can find a better one later on. Thank you. I did just watch what you did. So excuse me if I think I'll just walk on out of here. I'll be meeting a associate later. And she starts kind of walking away from you.
at the risk of sounding cliche over my dead body,
And she turns around and starts brandishing the saber at you. "Oh, yours is fine. What are you going to do? Shoot the hostage?"
oh, a bit better than that. Vincent is going to charge and attempt to tackle her.
Okay, that sounds like go toe to toe.
Yep.
Indira, meanwhile, is going to go trying to lock the doors against him getting out. Or her getting out. Let's see.
The thing is, I don't have an awful lot to actually add to this roll.
No, you don't. Okay. A lot of your stuff is current. A lot of the stuff that would help you is currently tied up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Thirsty Heart might work a little bit. You do have the gun, and you can belt people with it, even if you don't shoot them.
That is a good point. Move the gun into a pistol with grip rather than. And Thirsty Heart?
Thirsty Heart is okay.
I think that's about it. You got any...
I'm checking.
I would suggest I can't let go as a weakness.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. Go ahead and trigger it.
Done.
And run. Roll with it, toe to toe.
Oh.
Okay. Yuko charging forward to try to tackle her and club her upside the head with the gun. And she kind of dodges out of the way and slashes at you with the saber. So I'm going to need you to face danger.
Awesome. In Vile itself,
Good?
acid off the duck's back?
I think so, yeah.
I can't see anything else there.
No, I don't see much either. Go ahead and roll with that. Oh, how do you fend it off?
Vincent doesn't fend it off. She slashes him pretty good. Cuts through his clothes and jacket and everything. But the skin underneath heals nearly as fast as the cut is made.
Okay, and she kind of backs off and starts seeing and sees this happening, and well, you're something else, and you can feel a kind of a swelling in, kind of like there's something in the darkness of the museum around you. You're not exactly sure what it is, but you can kind of have impressions of. Actually, you probably are fairly aware, given what's on the sword. You got impressions of reaching tentacles and arms coming out of the darkness that's beginning to get thicker around you, and the area is just sort of turning into a thick darkness. There is now a status of darkness too, inky darkness too.
Vincent is going to start rummaging through the voluminous pockets of his jacket, knowing that he's got something for this particular problem. Talismans to ward off evil. Reaches in and rather than pulling out just like one particular one, just pulls out like a handful of amulets that he's strung together. One of them's got to work, right? So I'm looking at a change the game with plethora of arcane curios.
Okay, plethora of arcane curios will work. Mythic resonance works because that's something connected to your things, and you're fighting something mythic right now. Yep. Weird fortunes, occult trivia.
Awesome.
That's...
Any weaknesses or...
I am going to go ahead and tag Moon Mad, because you're kind of you've just come off of the stop holding back, and you're so firmly in the mythic, it's hard to merge the two.
I've got it. Okay, so change the game.
Indeed. And Indira is also doing a change the game. Let's see.
Oh, sweet. 3 juice.
Yes, you get 3 juice from bringing out occult things. You can make yourself a rank 3 status, which will more than cancel out the 2 status against you. Or you can do 3 story tags, which effectively cancel out the 2 status against you and can be used for multiple different things.
Alright, so the amulets come out, and rather than the inky darkness oppressing on Vincent, it turns, and suddenly the darkness is Vincent's.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
I'd say that would be a status 1, but in the other direction.
Yeah, it would be a status 1 in the other direction. His darkness there would be 2 things of darkness against both ways. You can put that up to a 2, or you can put it up to a 3. Actually, what you can do is buy his status down 2, and then increase your status up by 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, at the door, Indira got to the door before everything went dark, and she's sort of just trying to lock things up and tapping on the controls for the electric locks or alarms or whatever, and just kind of tapping in anything she can, and is going also for a change to game. However, I'm going to go ahead and hit Unwelcome Adventure on that. I'm picking Danger Everywhere, Convenient Circumstance, the number 42. And she gets a status of 1. So suddenly, the electrical outlets start going fidgety. You got sparks of lightning every so often throughout the lighting fixtures. So there's a status of there's a story tag of sparkly lighting on the scene.
Status 1.
Story tag. So it doesn't fit in with the it can be used on top of status.
Not a problem.
Okay. You can kind of feel that the darkness is now yours and it's not working again. You can kind of get images of where everybody stands. You can see where Little Bit Castillo is sort of trying to edge her way towards cover. The security guards are waving around with their guns, not really able to clearly tell what's going on. And well, actually, the guns are probably dropped. They're looking around for guns. The grad student is off in a corner, it's tripping over a bench and trying to find their way around. And in Dr. Franson's body, Captain Kelly is looking rather distraught, and just sort of, you can kind of feel the shaking under the ground, and suddenly just from around the area where she's standing, tentacles start bursting out of the ground and reaching out for wherever they can.
This is from the curator?
This is from the curator, yes. What do you do? There are tentacles reaching out for every conceivable location. They're reaching for the bystanders on the thing. You can probably there's There are some coming in your general direction. Kelly's not exactly sure anymore where anybody is, and is reaching everywhere. And is just going to clutch wherever the tentacles are just going to clutch wherever they find something.
Vincent clutches at the Slavic amulet, just like basically begging for it to do something, but of course it's currently dead.
Yeah, you can feel it rumbling with uncontained power and all that, and kind of the cracks around it, but it's non-responsive to anything in particular.
Oh, bugger it. Vincent reverses his grip on the gun and takes careful aim at the basket hilt.
Awesome.
Snapping his shot off.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and tark remarkable on this because people aren't going to see it, but the incidences are going to be things that they talk about.
Oh yes.
Okay. So your silver bullets can come in. Your control of the inky darkness can come in.
The gun.
The gun, yes.
Expert in restoration. Sights are perfectly calibrated.
I'll go with that, yes.
Not much else though, I fear.
No. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Alright. So what am I rolling?
I'm going to call this go toe-to-toe, because if you do it, you're taking something away from them, like the ability to exert power. Okay.
Alright.
You
So
have one.
I'd say I have to pick the first one. I managed to achieve my goal, e.g. take something they hold.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Bullet hits the basket hilt at the base of the blade, and it goes skittering out of her hand.
Yes. As that happens, some of the you do hear a cracking above, and the tentacles start vanishing away as the silver bullets disrupt the spirit inside the kraken sword for a moment. But the tentacles sort of flicker and go out, but somewhere above you, you hear a cracking. Glancing up, you see where there was bits of the ceiling were dislodged, but when they materialized, and now they're falling down on you, and I need you to take a face danger.
All right. In vial itself.
Okay.
Acid off the darts back?
Yes. This is random occurrence. I'll go with acid off the duck's back.
Okay. Weird fortunes.
Which you did not include in the toe-to-toe, so go ahead.
Alright, any weaknesses?
Okay, I am going to go ahead and... There's nothing really that fits, so go ahead. Okay, no status at all. What happens?
Vincent is running forward, and there's one of those very cinematic moments where every inch that he moves towards the sword, he's dodging falling debris, like jukes around a piece of concrete that just crunches into the floor next to his foot. Pieces of steel that spear into the ground as he spins around them.
Okay.
A shard of glass embeds itself in his shoulder, but he just pulls it out, and within moments the skin's healed underneath.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to also roll a face danger for Indira. Let's see. Disaster. Let me reset. Let me reset first. Disaster averted. Let's see. Danger everywhere. Desire for safety. And I think that'll cover it. Convenient circumstance, kind of, but yeah.
Oh, let me take a look because I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, this is true. As the lights come back on, she could be inconveniently recognized.
You don't want to tag unintended calamity?
I did when she was doing the door, so I could again, but I don't really want to. So soon after tagging it once.
Okay. This is a face danger, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, hit unwelcome adventure. I know it probably won't do much since that looks like it's cracking, but...
Yep, it definitely is. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so she's dodging, she's trying to get dodged out of the way and gets conked in the head with a large replica of what looks like a salmon.
Ah, fishy.
So she has a status of salmon to the head. Yep, she goes dodging to the side, and you're up there, and you can kind of get a feeling of Dr. Franson sitting there, kind of clearing her head and looking around, confused at trying to. Where is everybody? Why can't I see my? Why can't I see? What's going on? And the sword is out there in front of you. You, I believe, were just about to pick it up when you got through with your face danger.
Yep. So Vincent sort of will shout to her, evacuate, just get out of here, I'll handle this. Tears off a strip of his jacket, since it's pretty well shredded, before picking up the sword.
Okay.
Covering the hand.
As soon as you pick it up, you have a sensation of something much deeper and much darker. It's akin to what's back behind of you, but sort of from a different direction of somehow. And you can also feel ahead of it the shape of the spirit that kind of draws upon it, pushing itself into your head, trying to drive you into the back of your mind. So go ahead and give me a face danger.
Alright, in Violet Self, I don't know whether to make in Violet Self or Plethora of Arcane Studios the broad tag.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, there was, I think, you had oh, yes, right, your broad tag vanished with the other heart one. Okay.
Alright, Acid off the duck's back.
Definitely, this is mental.
Occult trivia.
You probably got a few things.
Let's still had those amulets, plethora of arcane curios, warding.
I'll let you do the plethora of arcane curios. Inky darkness won't really help too much.
Alright, what? So, Vincent's approach to this is like it's attacking. Vincent's heart is thirsty, so it's going to attempt to draw the power away from the attacking entity.
You know what? Instead of face danger, I'm going to go toe to toe.
Okay. Tag thirsty heart.
Go for it. I am going to, let's see. I am going to tag can't let go.
This makes sense.
That'll do.
Going toe to toe.
Go for it. Ooh.
So, tier 4 status?
Tier 4 status. What status are you going to inflict on the ghost? You were drawing it in, weren't you?
Yeah. So I'm kind of imagining this, the darkness flitting on a eerie spectral wind with this white sort of power seeping out of the blade and into Vincent's hands as people are trying to get the hell out of the room. And I think the status would be severely damaged corpus or something. Rendered corpus.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can kind of the ghost trying to force its way in just feels itself drawn into a maelstrom of your own psychic power, psychic potential and power, and it just kind of sort of you can hear it crying out in frustration and agony as you're just kind of twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted, and it can just barely retreat out into probably the blade and the deepest parts of it, shielded by that power that's on the other side of it. But it has retreated.
Alright. So Vincent grabs that string of amulets that he had and just ties it around the blade and gestures to the girl.
Okay. She comes over and just because she's been watching you from a corner where everybody else is trying to get past Indira's locked door, banging on the doors, and she comes and Indira's kind of shaking off a minor concussion at this point, big knot on her head, and you're going over there, and the actually you're standing there, and the girl walks over to you and very hesitantly reaches up to take it, and where she's holding it and you're holding it, obviously NPCs can't roll, so I need you to hit it with all you've got. I'll give you a story tag of the warden is present.
Alright, that is added. I don't have any of those other ones ticked. Let's clear the rest. Alright. So, tied the amulets around it. Plethora of arcane curia.
Yes.
Weird fortunes.
This isn't really a luck thing, so
Maybe mythic resonance thing.
that will work.
that's about it.
Occult trivia, I think.
Oh, cool.
And just because her stuff is luck-based, you have the well, you can get the sparkly lighting, have it zap the thing at an appropriate moment.
Oh, well, yes. It's obviously still disoriented from that. That was a story tag.
That was a story tag, and I think the other story tag is the warden is present.
Yeah, I thought that.
Okay, and that should go. Go ahead, hit it with all you've got. Hitting it with hitting them good is going to be enough to get it bound up in the sword and inactive again.
Yeah, that will be a tedious part. Well, I'm not sure you can add tears with that, but that's probably a good way of going at this point.
You can add tiers. It would be almost. It would take it straight to a tier 5, on the corpus thing. Yeah, I'll let.
Good point.
Yeah. So it is bound and sealed in the sword again, and the sword, you can still feel a connection to. You can kind of feel the connection to the other thing, the other power kind of fading as the spirit in the sword is bound up. Though it might still wait to use this as an outlet.
That's okay. The warden, as long as the warden can get it back to the Sargasso, or
Oh. Okay. Thank you. And at that, the doors of the museum slam open, and a team of a SWAT team starts bursting in through the front door, looking as surprised as anybody else that they managed to get through, and glancing around. Everybody freeze! And I think we can start going into montage at that point, because from there it's kind of convinced, unless you want to go through the convincing stuff.
no, that's okay. I think a montage for the denouement is a good idea at this point.
Yep. Okay.
So there'll be a lot of explaining a whole bunch of things and possibly distracting the police so that the warden can get away.
Yep. Do you explain the supernatural bits, or are you trying to give another explanation, or?
I think it suits the story better for Vincent to try and explain the supernatural bits, because he's going to be when the Slavic amulet cracks, he's going full occult investigator. When personality cracks, a similar thing's going to happen. So the reputation as a crackpot could start here.
Okay. If you want, we can go ahead and decide and say the Slavic amulet fades completely since it failed you at some point, and you turned away from it.
It probably disintegrated under the stress of that last, the last confrontation with
The ghost.
with the blade. Yeah.
Because that's not usually that's the way the book says to do fade, but yeah, it works narratively so. And
Oh yes,
that will give you 2 more build-up.
indeed. As the rule 0, if it's better for the narrative, you do that.
Definitely.
Also, other question. When the theme that I had before it cracked into Wicked Heart, did that have a improvement on it?
It did. That's why you had a build-up of 1 already.
Oh, 1. Right.
Right.
So you don't get 1 automatically for something kraken.
Sadly, no.
It's only when
It's
a mythos theme phase.
No, it's only when an improved one fades or cracks.
Oh, okay.
That's why you don't want to just break themes. You want to improve them a little before they break.
Right. So my question is, why didn't I get 2 for the first one cracked?
Let's see. It had the 1 improvement. I don't think it didn't have the 3. It only had 3 tags though, so it did not have a 4th tag.
Right. Slavic Amulet only has 3 tags, so I should only be marking 1.
But it upgraded during this.
Oh, of course. You're correct. Yes, my apologies.
We have an upgrade that happened that we didn't apply.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. It's a weird situation.
Very, yes.
Okay.
So that becomes a mission.
Yep. Okay. One note: you do meet a person coming in towards the end of. We're gonna actually let's go over what you're gonna do with your montage. Let me go and click the montage thing. Okay. So give attention to one of your logos, which you could instantly give a cult investigator a 2nd tag. Work the case, which not particularly useful at the moment. Explore your mythos, which would give you the last attention on Wicked Heart and bring it to a full theme. Prepare for your next activity. Change the game or recover from your last activity.
Alright, I think I'm going to explore my mythos this time.
Okay. And you're going to. That's going to be part of you explaining everything to them.
Yes, and probably after that, I'm imagining this montage scene being like explaining to the cops, Indira writing the story that's very sanitized and everything. The warden hopping on a plane, going back home with the sword.
Yep.
Then Vincent studying to earn the private investigator's license.
Cool.
That sort of thing.
And it's also going to be because going to go ahead and I'm kind of doing it as explore a mythos, but I'm going to, instead of doing it as give it attention, I'm going to do it as cracking the metro beat, because she is going to be arguing with the cops. They're confiscating the remains of her personal camera drone for evidence, and because she already has that status from you of thinking about going and doing some more investigative stuff, she's going to crack on that.
Nice.
And that will probably be her own relic. She's going to go home and start have an idea for creating her own sort of a new drone, and it's going to be called the Babelfish. Okay. And I will devise that up in a little bit here. So as you get to the end of that, and she's going home and starting to do it. You notice immediately that her new drone is not entirely normal. The tech that seems to drive it is too far unusual, and it does. She can't really explain how she came about it. She just sort of tinkered with it, and it did the thing. And it looks very much like a living fish that floats in the air beside it, swims in the air around her.
Wow, Indira.
Um, after towards the end of when you're getting wrapped up at the museum and everything, you do have somebody comes in, starts looking over everything with very officious sort of person, um, big white smile, white teeth smile when he greets people, and turns around and say, "Well." It kind of gets directed towards you after a talk with Dr. Franson and says, "Well, I understand somehow I have you. The museum has you to thank for not being destroyed out from under us. Thank you so much." And he reaches out his hand to shake yours.
Hmm. Vincent takes the hand and shakes it. And you are, sir?
"Oh, my name is Mr. Easton Bangle." And you've heard the name Bangle before, and it strikes you as there is a company, Bangle Investments LLC.
Oh, I'm glad to be of some assistance.
Myself, don't think nothing of it. I am glad to be able to keep track of certain remarkable individuals in my city. I may be in touch later. And he nods and goes around and starts talking to other people.
Oh, not ominous at all.
Okay. And I think it's time to geek out at the credits.
Indeed.
Okay. At the end of this session, when the credits roll, go around the table. Each player can answer one or more questions. How has the crew grown this session? Both of them have taken. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say we cooperated quite well in that last encounter. I think marking attention there is well deserved.
Indeed, I think so as well. And plus, we don't have any burned tags, so.
Hmm.
Okay. Which character had the most meaningful interaction with your character this session? I think we can skip that. We there was a lot of teamwork, but not much social interaction, which
Yeah.
we need to, which will happen better when we get back into investigative sections.
Oh yes.
Um, which of your themes is under the most strain? Given you have two fresh ones and one that's not so fresh.
Yeah, can't sit still is definitely, but I've already noted that it's going to crack into obsessive occultist as a personality.
Yep.
It's not the one I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the one after that, but pacing is a thing.
Indeed. Speaking of, and let me go ahead and look at Indiri's themes. Okay. At this point, the one that's closest to cracking is comfort in the familiar, which is um, going to be cracking into unaffected by the bizarre, because she doesn't have that improvement yet that will let it crack into another personality. But or it'll crack into something mythos right now. But it can take one more attention. So if we get her into a fight where she has to do something, and it's no good in a fight, then I'll be picking up that personality enhancement. Let's see. But yeah, her comfort in the familiar is close to breaking. Okay. That said, I believe our next next time is you in the GM seat and me in the player seat.
Oh yes, looking forward to that.
And before we move on, though, I'm going to go ahead and try to shuffle up and grab another 5 card names, so I can put it on the map here and have something in mind to prep for next time.
Awesome.
Let's see. Yeah. The card previously mentioned basically a Sargasso Sea effect in a travel, and the crew noticing a shipwreck beneath with lots of gold, but there were carnivorous plants, and it's like, oh, I can do something with that. Yeah. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, so the 5 here are the new high priest, beggars in need, dinner with the duke, unfettered growth, and the weaver's worries.
What was the first one?
The new high priest.
Oh, the Weaver's worries.
Okay. Awesome. Time to make a new map. Time to make a new map that isn't blindingly white.
Oh yes.
There we go. Okay then. Well,
So next time I will be GMing.
yes, next time you'll be GMing and I will be playing.
Indeed. Campaign called The Golden Ticket.
And it'll be very interesting to try to get into this character's head. It's been one I've been wanting to get into for a while now.
Yeah, I'm hoping with this one that we'll be able to explore more of the characters' mythos rather than random stuff that kind of happens to the characters. Although that's still going to be a thing.
Yep. And the one of the things that was kind of random in the ones we've been doing now is because we didn't start with a clear idea of what our mythoses were. We just sort of picked out some powers to begin with.
Oh, yes. And our previous game was a bit ad hoc because everyone was getting a handle on it and we had people dropping in and out. And,
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop the video, the recording, and thanks for the game.
Later, everyone. Thank you for running.
No problem.
Oh no, it's probably more likely that that is going to fade before.
This is definitely a thing because you're at Fade 1 right. You're at Fade 2 right now. So the way the character sheet does it kind of is counterintuitive to me because it makes dots disappear instead of appear. I know why they did it that way, but anyway.
Reaches in and rather than pulling out just like one particular one, just pulls out like a handful of amulets that he's strung together. One of them's got to work, right?
I'm just imagining a certain scene in The Mummy.
Yep. But that gives me an attention on the slug amulet.
Yeah, which means it upgrades before it cracks or fades.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. Do you keep the upgrade?
What happens is, well, it hasn't faded yet. What'll happen is the upgrade will become a build-up point.
Oh, awesome. Might have to talk a little bit about that later.
Yep.
All right. Any weaknesses? Just remove those story tags and statuses. There we go.
I'm tempted to mark remarkable again, but I just did sort of in the same sequence, so I don't think I will.
We can say it's the same. It's kind of the same action.
This is true. You're right, it is. Oh. I hit reset, didn't I? Bloody.
You did. The core moves are on the left.
Yeah.
But I know I always pause for a moment before I.
So she has a status of salmon to the head.
Oh dear.
It's not a particularly clever name for the status, but okay.
It's nonetheless.
Yep. Okay.
I think the status would be severely damaged corpus or something.
There's a Wraith term that goes far back.